There is a soul who carries a deep and steady love for you. Yet, this person has consciously chosen to remain at a distance. Before your mind begins to race, trying to analyze and explain every detail, pause for a moment and breathe slowly. Because what is reaching you right now is not something ordinary. This exact moment, this message, and its perfect timing feel connected to something higher. It serves as a quiet confirmation, a subtle form of clarity. It is the truth your inner self has long wanted to hear, buried beneath confusion and unanswered questions. There is no coincidence here. Nothing about this is random or meaningless. Sometimes the universe reveals hidden truths, but you can only notice them when you slow down and become still enough to listen. Your spirit already senses what is real. There is someone in your life, or perhaps someone from your past, who holds a deep devotion they struggle to express. They feel an intense emotion they cannot fully manage, and a longing that refuses to fade, no matter how much distance they create. Do not mistake their silence for indifference. Their quietness is filled with emotions too strong to put into words. As their love deepens, their instinct to withdraw grows stronger. It is as though loving you has become both a beautiful gift and the heaviest burden they have ever carried. This is a truth their heart understands, even while their actions attempt to hide it. They keep their distance because you touch them in a profound way. You awaken something within them that had been dormant for years, something hidden beneath layers of emotional protection. If you are dealing with someone who loves deeply yet keeps pulling away, understand that this dynamic is not uncommon. As Carl Jung once expressed, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. That transformation is exactly what happened between you. You changed them in ways they cannot ignore. You revealed parts of themselves they had never shown to anyone. You gently broke through walls they had carefully built over time. To them, you are not just another person. You are like a mirror, reflecting both their desires and their fears. You show them their hopes, but also the wounds they have never healed. They have never felt something this strong, this real, or this difficult to control. Without trying, you lowered their defenses. With you, they felt exposed, open, and deeply seen. But vulnerability was never something they were taught to feel safe with. You were not part of their plan. You arrived unexpectedly and shifted their world in ways they still struggle to understand. They did not anticipate the spark in your conversations, the calm in your presence, or the overwhelming realization that your absence would feel like losing something essential. Their distance is not due to lack of care, but because of the emotional intensity they feel around you. You have become someone whose presence and words hold deep significance for them, making you a reflection they are not yet ready to face. Their distance is, in many ways, a quiet confession. Deep down, they believe you deserve someone more whole, more healed, and more stable than they feel they are. They replay past moments, worrying that their unresolved wounds could disrupt something pure. They fear damaging a connection that feels too meaningful to risk. Within their silence lives a soft voice, telling them they are not ready to meet you as their best self. This silence is not empty. It is protective, shaped by their own feelings of inadequacy. They sense your bond in a place beyond logic. No matter how far they go, you remain present within them. Distractions feel temporary, and nothing truly replaces what they experienced with you. Their heart remains tied to the essence of your connection, even while their mind resists the vulnerability it brings. As Jung once said, "What you resist persists." Their effort to push you away has only strengthened the bond within them. Their silence carries unspoken truths, and the weight of past pain that taught them closeness can lead to hurt. You represent both comfort and risk to them. They are testing themselves, trying to understand if they can stand alone before they are ready to stand beside you. Beneath their composed exterior, They struggle with everything left unsaid. They know that even one honest step toward you would change everything. And that transformation is something they are not yet prepared to face. Their absence is not abandonment. It is a form of retreat, a way to quiet their internal storm before facing the stillness they feel with you. They understand that once they speak honestly, there is no going back. Loving you feels like a complete commitment, and that level of openness frightens them. They wait for a perfect time, hoping to feel stronger or more ready. But deep down, they know healing does not wait for ideal conditions. Even from afar, they wonder if your heart still holds space for them. They question whether you have moved on or closed the door completely. The truth is, they are not gone forever. They may return, not when they are perfect, but when the pain of being without you becomes greater than their fear. To others, they may appear calm, but this distance affects them deeply. They miss you not just as a memory, but as a place where they once felt truly at home. They remember how things felt lighter, more genuine, and more meaningful when you were around. Their hidden fears have guided their withdrawal, but their heart continues to move toward you. At night, when everything is quiet, they think of words left unsaid, apologies they never gave, feelings they never expressed. They imagine reaching out. They rehearse conversations they never begin. They write messages they never send. Each attempt ends with the same fear. What if it is too late? What if you have already moved forward? What if the chance is gone? Even with those fears, they cannot stop hoping that you still feel something too. They wonder if you still sense the connection in quiet moments. Sometimes they feel certain you are thinking of them as well. As if an invisible thread still connects you, they are afraid of losing you completely. Ironically, the distance they create is also their way of protecting themselves. They live in contradiction, running from what they desire most, staying silent about what they most need to say. They have never fully believed they deserve something as real as the connection you shared. What may seem like coldness is often just a shield. They learned early on that vulnerability carries risk, that dependence can lead to pain, so they built strong walls. Then you came and broke through them without even trying. That is why they step back. That is why they disappear at times. They attempt to rebuild their defenses, but their heart keeps choosing you. They tell themselves they need more time, to heal, to grow, to become better. But time has become their trap. Every day of silence makes things heavier, not easier. Every moment of waiting adds pressure. They imagine returning stronger, more certain, more fearless. But love rarely waits for perfection. Sometimes it requires stepping forward without certainty. They are slowly realizing that waiting too long can mean losing what matters most. They stand between fear and desire, feeling pulled in both directions. They try to quiet their thoughts to hear what truly matters. They wonder if you have grown without them, if you have moved on, if you no longer look for them. The thought of that possibility hurts deeply. They would rather stay silent than face the risk of discovering they waited too long. But beneath everything, one truth remains unchanged. They never stopped loving you. The distance is not because their feelings faded. It exists because those feelings became too intense for them to handle. They are not gone forever. There is a soul that holds a deep and lasting love for you. Yet this person has intentionally chosen distance. Before your thoughts begin to spiral into explanations, pause for a moment and allow yourself to breathe slowly. What is reaching you now is not ordinary. This moment, this message, and its timing feel connected to something beyond coincidence. It carries a quiet sense of confirmation, as if something long unspoken is slowly becoming clear. It reflects a truth your inner awareness has been trying to understand beneath confusion and unanswered questions. Nothing about this is random. Nothing here is without meaning or direction. At times, deeper understanding appears only when life becomes still enough for you to notice it. Your inner self already recognizes what feels real. There is someone in your story, perhaps from your present or your past, who carries emotions they struggle to express. They feel something intense and difficult to manage, along with a longing that does not disappear even with distance. Their silence should not be mistaken for absence of feeling. Instead, it holds emotions too heavy or complex to articulate. As their emotional intensity increases, so does their tendency to pull away. It is as though loving you has become both something beautiful and something overwhelming for them. Their heart understands this conflict, even when their actions seem contradictory. They maintain distance because your presence affected them deeply. You awakened something within them that had been dormant for a long time, hidden beneath layers of emotional protection and past experiences. If you are experiencing someone who feels close yet distant at the same time, it is often because internal conflict is stronger than outward expression. Carl Jung once described the meeting of two personalities as a transformation where both are changed through connection. And that is what has happened here. You have influenced them in ways they cannot ignore. You revealed parts of themselves they had never allowed to surface before. You gently disrupted emotional walls that were built over years. To them, you are not just another presence in their life. You act like a mirror, reflecting both what they desire and what they fear. You bring forward their hopes along with unresolved emotional wounds. They have not experienced feelings this intense or this exposing before. Without deliberate effort, you lowered their defenses. In your presence, they felt seen in a way that is both comforting and overwhelming. However, vulnerability is not something they were taught to trust. Your arrival was unexpected and shifted their internal world in ways they still struggle to process. They did not anticipate the emotional impact of your conversations, the calm they felt near you, or the fear that your absence would feel deeply unsettling. Their distance is not a sign of indifference, but a response to emotional intensity. You became someone who reflects parts of them they are not yet ready to fully accept or face. This distance also carries a quieter truth. Deep within, they believe you deserve someone more emotionally balanced, more healed, and more secure than they currently feel they are. They replay past moments and interactions, fearing that their unresolved emotional history might disturb something they perceive as rare and meaningful. They worry about damaging a connection they value deeply. Within their silence exists a belief that they are not yet prepared to meet you fully as they are. This silence is protective, shaped by self-doubt and inner uncertainty. Despite the physical distance, you remain present in their thoughts and emotional awareness. External distractions do not replace what they feel. Their attachment to what they experienced with you remains intact beneath everything else. Their heart continues to respond to the essence of your connection, even while their mind resists vulnerability. As Jung suggested, what is resisted tends to persist. Their attempt to push feelings away only strengthens them internally. Their silence contains unspoken emotions and the weight of past experiences that taught them to associate closeness with risk. You represent both comfort and emotional exposure. They are attempting to understand themselves before they can fully step toward you. This process involves internal struggle and self-reflection. They know that even a single honest step would change the entire direction of their emotional world. That realization creates hesitation. Their absence is not final rejection, it is withdrawal while they attempt to regulate internal conflict. A way to temporarily escape emotional overwhelm. They tell themselves that they need more time to become ready. Yet time often amplifies feelings rather than reducing them. From a distance, they wonder if you still hold space for them, or if that connection has weakened. That uncertainty creates both hope and fear. The truth beneath all of this is that emotional connection has not disappeared. Instead, it has grown more complex with time and distance. At night, when everything becomes quiet, thoughts of you return without effort. They think about words never spoken and moments they did not act on. They imagine conversations that never happened. They revisit memories and possibilities that remain unresolved. Each attempt to reach out internally ends with hesitation and fear of timing. They wonder whether too much distance has already passed. They also fear discovering that you may have moved forward emotionally. That thought creates inner resistance and emotional tension. Even so, the sense of connection does not fully fade. Something within them still feels tied to you in ways they cannot logically explain. They experience internal contradiction, moving between longing and avoidance. They desire connection, yet hesitate to step into it. This tension creates emotional fatigue. They begin to see how avoidance does not bring relief, but instead deepens internal conflict. They reflect on how often they have suppressed emotions to maintain control. Over time, that suppression becomes exhausting. They are slowly realizing that emotional distance does not protect them from pain. It often intensifies it. Memories of your presence continue to surface. Your voice, your understanding, and the ease they felt with you remain vivid internally. They think about how rare that sense of emotional safety felt. It is not easily replaced or forgotten. They begin to understand that what they feel cannot simply be dismissed or replaced. Emotional bonds of that depth persist beneath surface distractions. They also begin to recognize that fear has shaped many of their decisions. Fear of vulnerability, fear of rejection, and fear of inadequacy. You represented something real to them, something that did not require performance or pretense. That authenticity both attracted and overwhelmed them. They once believed love required instability or emotional struggle. With you, they experienced something different and unfamiliar. That unfamiliarity created both comfort and fear at the same time. They were not afraid that you would leave. They were afraid of not being enough in return. They feared being fully seen and judged by their perceived imperfections. That fear contributed significantly to their withdrawal. What they are slowly learning is that connection does not require perfection. It requires honesty and presence. Every day of distance adds emotional weight rather than clarity. Silence becomes heavier over time. They think about returning, but the idea feels overwhelming because it requires vulnerability. They also begin to see that waiting for perfect readiness is delaying something meaningful. Emotional readiness often comes through action, not avoidance. They are starting to recognize internal patterns they once repeated unconsciously. Withdrawal, suppression, and emotional isolation are no longer serving them. Instead of escaping outwardly, they are now being forced inward. This inner reflection is uncomfortable but necessary. They are confronting parts of themselves they previously avoided. This includes fear, insecurity, and unresolved emotional wounds. Through this process, they are gradually understanding themselves in a deeper way. They are no longer able to remain emotionally disconnected from their truth. They begin to realize that what they once called strength was often emotional shutdown. True strength requires emotional awareness, not avoidance. You remain a significant emotional reference point within their inner world. Even in distance, that connection remains active. They feel drawn back to memories of how things felt with you. Those memories carry emotional clarity they cannot ignore. They begin to question whether distance truly served them or only delayed understanding. That question grows stronger over time. The idea of returning begins to form not as impulse, but as emotional necessity. Not for perfection, but for honesty. They are no longer the same as when they first stepped away. Time and reflection have altered their internal perspective. Something within them is shifting gradually toward acceptance rather than avoidance. Emotional resistance is slowly weakening. They recognize that continuing to avoid connection may lead to deeper regret. That realization becomes harder to ignore. Even with fear still present, awareness continues to grow. Emotional truth becomes increasingly difficult to suppress. They begin to understand that connection like this does not appear often in life. It leaves a lasting imprint. And so, within their silence, change is already happening. Quietly, steadily, and internally. They are not fully gone from this emotional path. They are still within its unfolding, still processing what it means. The distance remains, but so does the connection beneath it. And that connection continues to influence their inner world more than they openly admit.